Hey guys, Steve Zelnardo here, back with Treviso Realty and the Spark Financial Boys. We're just going to be talking about construction finance. You know, this is a big segment, clearly, because we've got a lot of foreign nationals, a lot of Americans coming in, building up, specifically here in Southwest Florida. We are, because there's a lot of these spec lots, and also we're in the mix of doing this currently right now. We have 6 or 7 offers out on various properties. So this is actually going to be a very intriguing conversation for myself, also because I'm looking for the same type of financing. So boys, what are we doing? How do we get money?
There's a lot of ways. Firstly, a lot of construction operators and builders, what they're looking to do is they're basically looking to build like their first property to spec out what exactly it's going to look like for their new development. So that's what they're calling currently a spec house. And this property essentially is like the first of many. It often is just one house when they're basically building out in a new neighborhood. So the first side of this is, properties are based on value. And so when you're looking for funding based on evaluation of how much the property is worth and how much the property will be worth after the construction is complete. So
is this a remodeled or like a new build?
We're looking at 2 sides. So a rebuild, which we refer to as a rehab, is one side of the lending process where we do have opportunities for lending, and there's obviously different programs available. But what I was referring to is basically right from the ground up. So we are in South Florida, so we don't have any basements. So it's a little bit different in terms of how our build quality is. Things are standardized basically from the land. They're pillared from from foundation, and we're not digging in underground the same way that you would, let's say, in the Northeast Coast. The properties are evaluated based on the plot of land, and then we evaluate the build based on accurate numbers. So we'll average out accurate numbers based on how much does it cost for materials, how much does it cost for let's say labor, variables for permits, and all of the different closing costs. Now, the beauty is when you're getting construction lending, there's a lot of different variables. One of the things is people are concerned about how much does it cost to carry this, right? Because they're going to be obviously having to pay monthly interest. So a lot of the programs that we're supporting and a lot of the programs which we promote to our clients are interest at the back, which means at the end of your build, which is likely, 16, 18, 24 months, you'll pay the interest accumulated.
I'm hoping 3 to 5 months.
It's 3 to 5 months, as quick as possible.
Turn them over, buddy. Turn them over like pancakes.
Absolutely. So some of the spec houses obviously won't take as long. If you're doing a development, you may need up to 24 months. We have terms up to 24 months with options.
So that's quite interesting. So you're going to get interest on the backside. So you're going to front the money up. Do you do it out in segments? Like let's say like foundation footings done and slab, and then the shelling of the property is done, which is obviously the concrete block. Is that then you release the next set of money, or is it just released all at one time?
So yes. So what you're referring to is our tranches, and it's very common in buildings where generally when you're getting funding, they're going to be released in the stages in which you're building. So let's say in the first stages, you're basically sometimes acquiring the land if you don't already own the land. And this is a part of your first stage. When shovels are ready to hit the ground, that's part of the first stage as well. So they'll start excavation and the build out, and obviously go according to the original plans. And then the second stage is end of second, early third stages. You're starting to look at framing and build out for blocks, and that's another stage for where material is going to get very heavy. Costs are going to start coming up, and that's where the release of the funds are coming out in these stages.
When let's just say now, because we're in like I said, we're in the process of doing this ourselves for our Treviso Homes company. Do you need like a breakdown of all the labor costs and material costs up front, so you kind of look at that and say, okay, well, let's see, the exterior shelling, foundation footings, trusses with sheathing is $70,000. Do you look at that and you break that up, or do you do your own assessments on that?
No, absolutely. We
look at what we provide.
We would have the builders break that up and provide a pro forma, which basically allows us to look at every segment, all the way from what the land cost is in purchase to what the land value is based on that purchase. Sometimes people are purchasing land at a lower cost than what the land value is currently in that market. So second, off-market purchases. So if you're buying land and it's off-market, maybe from somebody you know, or maybe it's somebody that's that doesn't want to go direct into the market. They want to go to a private sale. So these costs are variables. But just to answer your question directly, a lot of these layered costs, land, the cost of build, the cost of materials, all of this stuff has to be broken down very thoroughly into a kind of an analyzed pro forma. And we also want to see what that looks like in terms of the end result. So we want to know, okay, what is the total cost to build? And then what is the market value of the actual sale price of that property? So that way we can evaluate what LTV is, total loan to value. And we can also see what LTC is, loan to cost, which is very important because when we're looking at loan to cost, we're looking at how much money are we able to give you to maximize your opportunity to build to get the highest LTV.
So, but basically, you're going to lend. Let's just say it's going to cost me with land like $350,000. Let's say to build, right? Like what we're not building anything like fancy and stuff like that. What you're seeing up in maybe Fort Lauderdale. This is like more traditional family homes. So we're going to turn over like, let's say, a $350K. So
Right.
you would lend a $350. So that's cost of material, land. So cost of material, land, and labor clearly.
Yes. So generally
So
we
you
are
would charge a percentage on the $350 that we would need.
for sure. So just to explain, most of our borrowers are qualifying for lending up to 85%. That's our maximum lend amount. So that means 15% of the purchase price and the closing cost should be brought by the borrower. So that's the starting point. So we're loaning up to 85% of the
Okay.
total amount
Nice.
of the loan to cost. And then overall, then you'll see the value, obviously, in the conversion in the loan to value.
So that's pretty fair. So 50% down, and again, rates are going to fluctuate. I guess we can talk about that in another segment. But yeah, that's quite cool. I like
Absolutely.
that. Yeah.
Just to piggyback off of what Daniel said here about the construction loans, we do also offer a program where the loan amount, the limit is 750,000, and you can put 5% down, and that includes the land purchase and the construction. So that being said, if it's an investment property, you can do up to 4 properties, and the down payment would be 15%. So it's definitely an option. 5% down on a primary, it's pretty ridiculous. You find a nice piece of land, you build your own house, and you're putting 5% down. So it's a very interesting program right now, and people are taking advantage of it.
That's fantastic. Yeah, definitely going to hit you guys up. We've got to figure out which method or which program we're going to use for our financing, and then we'll go from there for sure. Yeah, that's awesome.